Yo, what's up, guys? Color. Um, I saw the pay per view, um, Night of Champions last night. I'm not going to go into detail of the entire pay per view, just the main event in particular. I really want to talk out, or I really want to nail into because as a wrestling fan, it's very frustrating for me. Um, as a whole, Night of Champions I thought was a bit of a disappointment for me. To me, I thought the build was pretty decent. I thought it had some matches that I cared about, more than one match that I cared about going into the pay per view. But coming out of it, as a whole, Night of Champions did not live up to the build or interest that it gave me going into the event. Um, so the main event, Sting versus Rollins. Um, Sting took some pretty nasty bumps. For a man of his age, he put his body on the line. Um, he definitely put his body on the line more so in this match than he did against his match with Triple H. But due to the ending result, Sting losing. As a fan of Sting, it's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. Um, I mean, it's like I was speechless. I was really speechless. Here's the reason why. See, the ending result was a bit bittersweet. Here's why. It it was bittersweet. It was bitter because Sting didn't win. He didn't win the title, the WWE title. But it was a little sweet because he lost to an up and comer like Seth Rollins. It wasn't a John Cena, who wrestled with a great legend. It was a Seth Rollins, and it added to his, you know, it added it put feathers in Seth Rollins' cap. It added to his, you know, to his building legacy to say he fought and against a legend like Sting and came out the victor. It adds to Seth Rollins' legacy. So clean on top of that. From that end, it's sweet, but it's so disappointing because it's like here's a guy that has been in WWE, who a lot of fans have wanted to see in WWE for years, regardless of how long he stayed in TNA and how good or terrible you thought his run may have been in TNA in the last 8 or 9 years he was there. He finally comes to WWE. Everyone's excited. Everyone pops. He finally debuts at Survivor Series. Goes up and gets his first and what we thought may have been his last match. Loses to Triple H at WrestleMania. Does this weird handshake, and it's like, what the hell? Um, and then you fast forward, several months later, Sting gets a world title shot. To me, I figure, you know what? This is a good chance for them to right the wrong that they did at WrestleMania. Give Sting some momentum, give him some steam. Add some fuel back into his fire, and he loses this one, and it's like, what the hell? Like, you just had him lose two big matches coming into the WWE. And I use that term very lightly because it seemed like Sting suffered a pretty bad injury, um, back injury from his match with Rollins. If he does do a match against Undertaker at WrestleMania next year, he's gonna lose. It's predetermined in my mind he's gonna lose that match. And quite frankly, most people figure, why should he lose? I mean, why should he win to a guy like an Undertaker who's been their monster that they've built for generations, for so many years. So it doesn't make sense to me. It really does not make sense. Had Sting won his match at WrestleMania, I probably would have been a little bit okay with him losing last night and not winning the title if he won his first match. But you bring him in to your biggest pay per view of the year, he loses that, um, on some BS. The ending was BS. Then you give him a title shot, building up Sting fans like myself, building our hopes up, saying like, oh, okay, well, the thing at WrestleMania didn't work out. We didn't agree with it, but this is the next best thing. And you screw him out of that as well. He lost clean, but when I use the word screw, I mean in terms of not a screwy finish, but you don't give him, you don't invest in him in this match either. And it's like, what the hell? And the first sign of me of something funky going down was when they had Sting win his match on Raw on the Go Home show leading to the pay per view. That was like the first. That was the first thing in the back of my mind, because when he had that tag team match with John Cena, and Sting was the one who put Rollins in the death lock and had Rollins to tap out. That right there in the back of my head, that was a sign. I stood there as I watched Raw with my brother-in-law, and I'm like, you know what? They just had Sting beat Rollins on Raw. I don't know if he's gonna win at the pay per view now. I don't think he's gonna win at the pay per view now. I clearly said, and my brother-in-law could back me up. I clearly said that when we watched last week's Raw, but I was still had a glimmer of hope. I'm like, but just maybe, but no, they did it anyway. And quite frankly, some people say, well, his record is it's 2-1. I mean, he won the match on Raw. Let's be honest, no one's gonna give a rat's tail about his match on Raw. It's gonna be forgotten. What people are going to mostly remember in terms of Sting's WWE career is his match at WrestleMania and his world title match against Seth Rollins. Those are the things that are going to stick out like a sore thumb. Not the match in between, which was on Raw. I mean, seriously. I'm not saying make Sting, WWE champion and have him hold the belt from here to, WrestleMania, but at least give him his just due. Give him some momentum. Give him something to work with. Get the fans invested in him. But by you bringing in a big name like Sting and you have him do the JOB at WrestleMania and then do it again at a world title match, realistically, you're not booking Sting right. You're not booking Sting right, because let's be fair. Let's be really fair and be down to the nitty gritty. Half these wrestling fans in these audience don't even know who Sting is. They don't know who he is. They've never watched a WCW. They're unaware, or probably don't even watch a TNA if they were aware of the product. You have to get people behind Sting. You can't just throw him in there. Oh, well, maybe the older fans, they know who you got to get everybody to know who Sting is and to get them invested. And WWE have executed that poorly. Once again, they use Sting like every other top WCW superstar. They put him in the ring just to get a merchandise sale, but after that, they booked them like horse crap. I was crossing my fingers. I was hoping. Sting is the last guy from WCW. He's the last big major WCW star. It's been years since we had a big star from that brand cross over to the other side into WWE. Maybe WWE are going to do things right. Maybe things have changed. They're going to do things right. No, clearly not. No, it's the same shit they pulled in like 2002, 2003, 2004 with WCW guys. It's the same thing. And it's like they've ruined Sting for me. They've ruined him. And when I say ruined, they haven't ruined his career, because Sting's career far exceeds and goes far beyond what he's done or been doing here in WWE. But I mean, in terms of his WWE career, which I wouldn't expect it to be long anyway, but his WWE career, and for him to be a part-timer, considering his age, he's a special attraction. He's only here for a short time, for a short window. They have executed Sting poorly. To me, they've only brought Sting in and to sign his name on the dotted line just to sell some damn merch, just to sell some t-shirts, just to sell some DVDs and some action figures. And that's all fine and dandy. I mean, if you want to make, he's a draw. So if you want to make money off the Sting name, go ahead. That's fine. But if you're going to book him like shit on top of that, I kind of wish at this point Sting never would have came to WWE. I had to get this out of here, get this off my chest, because as a Sting fan, it, that was so disappointing. The booking was it's been so disappointing for Sting. As a fan of the rest, he's one of my favorites of all time, and to see how WWE booked him, it's been horrible. I mean, they could have given Sting the belt, man. They could have given him the belt and then let him drop it, at Hell in a Cell. And now we're gonna get a Kane and Seth Rollins feud. Come on, man. Come on. A Kane and Seth Rollins. Nobody wants to see that. The product's gonna drag down even more now. If you thought it was bad now with some of the storylines with the world title picture, it's gonna drag to hell with Kane being in the main picture. I mean, come on, man. Seriously. How do you go from Sting to Kane? I mean, they could have had Sting win the title, and then Rollins gets a rematch and he wins it back at the following pay per view, or have Sheamus cash in at the following pay per view. They could have done something, but let Sting have his moment. Give him something. Give him something to work with, man. It's so disappointing, man. It's like WWE is whack, man. They whack when it comes to former superstars that they didn't make. Like I've always said, WWE's logo motto to me: if we didn't make you, we will break you. And that's what it seems like they do with every single time. They can never take a superstar that has some buzz, or that whether or that was a star from a different brand, and just bring them in as is and let them be themselves and let them get over. They have to demolish them. They have to tear them down. They have to book them like horse shit. I don't get it. You guys let me know what you think about this in the box below. Comment, subscribe, peace. I really want to hear you guys' thoughts on this, because, I mean, like I said, just mixed reviews for me. It's just so disappointing. I want to hear your thoughts in the box below. Comment, subscribe, peace.